Joe Maddon joins us every week. Joe, it's Brian Kenny. Great to have you back on the show.
Thanks, BK. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, too. I want your overall philosophy. Again, you just give us your, view from 30,000 feet after being in the dugout for so long. Juan Soto, his extreme eye, not expanding the zone. What do you make of that and its value?
Well, to me, it's always been valuable. Even as a young hitting coach back in the 80s, I could show you something that I wrote back then. I always wanted my guys to hopefully balance the number of times they walk with the number of times they struck out. And then I thought at that point they had their strike zone in order. Of course, that doesn't always happen. Power hitters, I accepted more strikeouts over walks. Guys that weren't that, I wanted to see at least or something right around even. But when you get guys like Soto, again, to me, when you get in this position here, there's times that there's going to be pitches that he really can do damage with that he's not going to swing at because it's almost like he's predetermined to not swing. Mm-hmm. You get into maybe mode. I mean, it's like I used to talk with Ersty about that when I was with Darren here in Anaheim. Ersty would go bad when you get into maybe mode. Should I swing? Should I not swing? For me, it's not about that. You should be ready or prepared to hit every pitch and then shut it down at the last moment because you're a very good baseball player. So I don't know if he gets like predetermined to swing or not. It almost looks that way to me. And if that's the case, then he's missing a lot of opportunities to really drive the baseball. I think he's got less RBIs than he should.
It's interesting you say that, Joe, because I thought of the antithesis of this. Normally I defend Joey Votto, Juan Soto. Garrett Anderson. Anderson, one of your guys, right, with the Angels, turn of the century, the last century. I looked up his averages from 1996 to 2003. Here's his slash line is telling. High batting average, on base kind of low. Slugging is good. Total bases, over 300 total bases per year. So I used to think, hey, there's value in this guy too. Whether you're Joey Votto or the kind of the opposite of that where, no, I'm not looking for every walk, but I am going to drive the ball. He averaged 100 RBIs a year and 303 total bases. It was the fifth best in the league that year. So give me, what's the best way of hitting? Is it Garrett Anderson or Juan Soto?
It's individualized. I mean, you can't just say one way or the other. I really believe that. You could also, when you talk about GA, I think about Harold Baines in the same. I always thought Harold Baines and GA were kind of reminiscent of one another. For me, it's a balance. It's always about a balance. If I got guys that are swingers, I want a couple guys in that lineup possibly that will look over a pitch too. Right. I've always wanted to, even back then, I wanted to get the starter out sooner. Now, I don't even know if that's desirable anymore because of the way bullpens are constructed these days. Yeah. But I mean, I like balance. I like balance. GA was so good at finding the barrel to the ball. That's a difference too. GA knew where the barrel was. It was normally pretty good contact. Used a really heavy bat. It's something I promoted in the minor leagues as a hitting coach. A heavy bat that made you use your hands more and your body less. And if you watch GA ever with this swing, it was really this little flicky thing at the end with his hands. And I think in practice, at least, if you use a heavy-ended bat, it promotes hands over arms, which I think then promotes for better contact. Interesting.
A lot of ways of doing it. Give me, just to branch off of that, what is your philosophy on big free agents, the big signing and payroll balance? I know you probably didn't have big money guys till you got to the Cubs, and even then it was Lester and Hayward, but you didn't have like that one guy sucking in all the money. What's your view on that?
Yeah, you have to be right. You have to be really right. Like you're talking about Judge with the Yankees. They are not the Yankees right now without Aaron. I mean, when he got hurt earlier this year, I was talking to my buddy, he's a big Yankee fan. I said, listen, until this guy comes back, it's going to be pretty tough for them to do what everybody expects them to do. So guys like that, if you're going to go that number, you got to be right on the money, literally. So if you're going to talk about Soto, I know that was part of the question. To me, I'd be more apprehensive about that regarding whether you want to give him that kind of dough. When you do that, you put all your eggs in that one basket. You got to make sure the basket is correct because otherwise it's going to destroy you for years. It's hard to balance it out. All of a sudden you need pieces. You can't buy pieces. You can't trade for pieces. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a bind. Yeah,
your job's on the line when you do that. Just quick, I want to get to two things here. Rangers are 34-19. What do you make of Bruce Bochy back in the dugout?
Oh, I love Boch. I mean, you see, the thing about Boch, there's just such a stability about it, consistency, discipline. Consistency and discipline are synonymous terms for me. So, like, it's not yelling, it's not screaming. When they go to the ballpark every day, those guys know what to expect with Boch, and they have confidence in all the decisions that he's going to make, and he explains them very well to each and every player and coach. So it's a warm fuzzy when you see the guy at the end of the dugout like Boch, because again, you know when the game begins, you probably have an advantage. regarding maneuvering during the course of the game. And overall, you're going to get this dude that every time he walks in the building, you know what to expect and who to expect. And to me, that means a lot.
One last thing, Joe. Earlier in the week, we were talking about the Rays takeover of baseball. Now, including you, in 2016, right, when this started, 2016 on, 7 years, there has been an ex-Rays GM GMing or an ex-Rays manager managing in the World Series for 7 straight years. What do you make of that? You were at the start of that. What do you make of that?
Well, they're alluding to the point right there. You're talking about putting all the eggs in one basket. They don't do that. The Rays don't do that. The Rays are very good at they're very frugal in a sense, but also very wise with how they spend their money. If they went out and spent all this big money on a particular free agent, it did not work out there, and they are no longer the Rays. You cannot do what they've done there. So they've been criticized for not spending money, but I think they should be actually glorified for the same reasons, because of that. Then they can spread it out. They can let Longo leave. They can let David Price go, because they have all this pipeline coming of a group of guys you've never heard of before, but they're very confident in their methods. See, they're not copycat. Everybody wants to copy the Rays. They don't want to copy anybody else.
Right.
I think that's a big part of why they're so successful. Their scouting and development is absolutely been galvanized. They know what they're doing on an annual basis, whether when they send their scouts out there, or when the dudes arrive in spring training and during the season, they know what they want to say to them and they know what they're looking for. I don't think everybody does.
Right. No, well put. Joe, by the way, I just want to throw in, we're not putting James Dean over your shoulder. Like, that's physically there behind you, right? The James Dean.
Jimmy's right there. He's right there.
Why is he the hunting specter of
Well,
James
you know
Dean?
what? We share the same birthday.
Oh,
He's a February 8th guy. He's a February 8th guy. My sister gave that to me several years ago, and it's kind of freaky. Marilyn Monroe's right over there, by the way.
All right, no, we're fine.
I'll put her on the other side next time.
We're all right. Joe, always a pleasure, man. Have a great week. Great talking to you again.
You guys be well. Thank you. My pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you.